สวัสดีค่ะ
ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีทุกคนนะคะก็เออเรามาอยู่กันวันเสาร์เช้าตอนนี้เนาะ
ใช่
ค่ะก็อย่างนั้นเออมาเรื่องก่อนวันนี้นะคะก็จะรับหน้าที่ผู้ดำเนินรายการนะคะก็โดยจอยนะคะศศิชนวลีสวัสดิสวนีนะคะเป็น Principal of Architects ของบริษัทสิน Architects นะคะ
ค่ะแล้วก็โมนะคะชื่อเล่นชื่อโมนะคะอาจารย์ดรสลินพินิจค่ะจากคณะสถาปัตยกรรมศาสตร์จุฬาลงกรณ์มหาวิทยาลัยค่ะ
ค่ะก็วันนี้คร่าวๆมันก็จะเป็นทอล์กสบายๆนะคะที่สมาคมสถาปนิกสยามนะคะร่วมกับอีก4ประเทศนะคะก็จัดเชิญวิทยากรจาก4ที่นะคะมีทั้งประเทศไทยมาเลสิงคโปร์แล้วก็อินโดนีเซียนะคะมาพูดคุยเกี่ยวกับเรื่องการทำงานของarchitect ยุคใหม่นะคะก็วันนี้เราก็มาอยู่ด้วยกัน2ชั่วโมงอาจจะ2ชั่วโมงนิดๆในการพูดคุยแล้วก็เนื่องด้วยว่าเราเนี่ยมีผู้ฟังจากหลากหลายประเทศ international นะคะแล้วก็อาจจะสวิชเป็นภาษาอังกฤษนะคะก็อาจจะเริ่มณตั้งแต่ตอนนี้เลยไม่ให้เสียเวลานะคะก็งั้นขอเริ่มนิดนึงนะคะก็hello everyone for the Saturday morning. Let me quickly brief about why we are here and what we're gonna spend for our next 2 hours. Since every year ISA organize the online series of lecture, and here today we come up with the topic of 4 nations ASA 2024 Small Architecture. Is the lecture to collaborated by the Association of Architects from 4 different countries in Southeast Asia, which is include the Association of Siamese Architecture (ASA) and Singapore Institute of Architecture (SIA), and the next is Pertubuhan Akitek Malaysia, we call PAM, and the last one is Ikatan Arsitek Indonesia IAI. And today talks, as we spoke already in Thai, that will be moderated by 2 of us, Joy and คุณสิริน
yeah
คุณสริน Today talk we're gonna have 4 young architects from 4 different countries, and the purpose of the talk, what you think we're gonna do and the talk for today talk คุณโมคะ
Actually, for the lectures, or let's say the talk today, we're gonna make like an informal one. So all the architects from all 4 nations will introduce their work and also their process and also the experience and all the obstructions and everything. They will share it here with us. And for everyone also can list your comments, or even you can also type the comments during the talk. And at the end of the talk, we will read it or we will ask them together.
Yeah, it must be interesting to get an idea and know how the architects from different countries, how they work, how is their design thinking process, and sharing and exchange the experience is going to be happen in our talk. So we quickly introduce 4 of the speaker. The first one we start from Thailand, คุณสีฟ้าสอนชัยยืน Studio สีฟ้า and the second one is
Endar Asman from Indonesia, from AIA. His studio is SoBA.
Yeah, and the first one we continue with Vanessa Baey from Singapore, from KYOOB Architect Studio.
Yeah, and the fourth, Azlan Syarawi from Syarawi Architect from PAM Malaysia.
Yeah, thank you everyone coming and share your experience today.
Yeah, hello everyone again.
Hello.
All right, don't waste much of our time. Shall we start for the first speaker? I give the stage to Sifah to continue. Yeah. Hello.
เชิญค่ะ
Hello.
Yeah, it's good to know. And I actually quickly have a look for your public website about the work. I see very interesting work, and I seldom see the work in northern part of Thailand. I saw a lot of your complete project there that show very interesting way of the how to make use of the space and material.
Okay. สวัสดีเจ้า My name is Sifah สอนชัยยืน I'm an architect and interior design from Studio Sifah. We are in Chiang Mai province, that a famous capital culture city in the northern part of Thailand. It was capital of a independent Rana kingdom. Is the old city area from history and more culture and religious. There are many temples and ancient remains. Experience the local way of life and craft work. So that's why we interesting about the identity of material on architecture into the contemporary style. At my office, we work both exterior architecture and interior design together. Oftentimes, we think about how something needs to construction beautiful that creates space by structure. The aesthetic that we try to convey are down the columns, beam, and floor and joint and details, including the layout of the function to match the user behavior. I want to representing the story of our countryside and our spirit of culture, our community in a different perspective and different project through current understand. At the office, when we work with nature atmosphere that fulfill our idea and more relaxing space, we try to experimental with locality and contemporary lifestyle together. Let's start to our project. My project is Rap is more. Rap is not dish from Thai northern cuisines, but deeply root way of life. I explain about lab. Lab is not just a local dish, but a profound way of life. Insignificant joy us gathering and with relative unfolding on the floor. The culture traditional of sitting on the floor is common feature among Southern Asia communities. Represent the northern folk simple and close knit family.
Sorry for a bit disturb. Sifah can share full screen for easily seeing.
Oh, sorry.
ค่ะกด full screen ค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
press the presentation button
ค่ะมันจะมีสี่เหลี่ยม จะได้ภาพได้ใหญ่
now
ๆ
is
ค่ะ
a full screen on my desktop
in PowerPoint โปรแกรมเลยค่ะอันนี้ไม่เกี่ยวกับ
ใช่ค่ะตอนนี้จริงๆในจอมันเป็นอันนี้แล้ว
มัน full screen แล้วเหรอ
ใช่ค่ะ
โอเค continue ต่อได้ค่ะเดี๋ยว
พอดีสไลด์มันไม่เลื่อนค่ะพี่
โอเคไม่ขึ้น
มันแชร์ผิดหน้านะคะอันนี้น่าจะมีแบบเหมือนเป็นมอนิเตอร์วันทูอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะYeah, as we say, it's the casual chat. Maybe some a bit mistake happen. Don't much worry.
ได้ไหมคะ
เดี๋ยวลองแชร์อีกทีหนึ่งค่ะ
แชร์แล้ว
เดี๋ยวให้พี่หนึ่งลองให้พี่หนึ่งลองแชร์ดูนิดนึงค่ะเดี๋ยวต่อได้เลยค่ะ let's get a continue
ได้ไหมคะ
full screen already พี่สีฟ้า you can do a presentation ค่ะ
โอเคIt's a presentation with my office. Okay, we work both exterior and architecture and interior design together. Oftentimes we think about how something needs to construction beautiful that creates space from structure. The aesthetic that we try to convey down the column and beam and details, including the layout of the next page is at my office. When we work with the nature atmosphere, that's fulfill our idea and more relaxing space as a home. We try to experimental. Let's start to our project. Lab is small. I want to talk about the lab. Lab is for the people of Northern Thai region. Lab is not just a local dish, but a profound way of life. Its significant joy as catering with relative on the floor. The cultural tradition of sitting on the floor is a common feature among Southern Asia communities, represent the Northern folk simple and close-knit family. Next. This project located at Hang Dong District, Chiang Mai. First, I study about the surroundings. The house is in the middle of community of the relative, and it has the way of rural life. We are interested in surrounding. Next. Long Khao is inspiration and interesting about to start with the idea. This nearby the local house barn known as Long Khao has become the great inspiration from the pure character of simplicity. Next. Two-story building use the second list floor as light storage. It's next page. Yes. While the open plan first floor provide a semi-outdoor kitchen combined with northern sitting style. Facade and fence use the old style corrugated zinc that we can notice. They open the skylight on the roof to let the light in, and the see-through fence not only for define the boundary but can connect and see each other. The Long Khao is we apply the existing corrugated wall to our design by repeat them into the roof and the see-through fence pattern together. Next. For this, I think about the user. As a child, he grew up among the life fields. Rural life appeared to him very much. And he is love cooking lab with friends. While he skateboarding and playing guitar. As a modern generation, he is a photographer. User require. Upon this, we have 3 points to design conditions. First, we think about follow function from owner requirement. Second is the privacy. And the last one is consider about the material. We avoid the wooden problem when used is for exterior finish and structure. So we make the difference by explore the new material, which still contain the spirit of local materials. The master plan from the function require on 66 square wall area. And architectural design from the function, we use a different level. Sorry, with back. Yeah, back here. The function, we use a different level to define space. Next, they open the skylight on the roof to let in. And the client talk about is not used wooden. I use the concrete, steel, metal sheet, and cement block in the new modern materials. We use the next. Okay, we use the different level to define space. Next. Foyer at the entrance and parking at the same level in the public area, and level up to multi-purpose area as a pantry and dining area that connect to the terrace outside. The area is the most important because it's a lab area. When we are making lab that present our design concept, and the up level is a private area. We presentation about the section to this area to first step in the foyer, link to the parking. The level up the multi-purpose area and link to connect the lab area. The first idea I represent the when people use the area. Next. I have a detail about the when you cook or wash the vegetable here. At the area for lab space and to living area, I think to at the same time, the difference between these two levels have become the flexible sitting space like this in traditional Rana house. Yes. Yes, I have an example about the picture. And the function in my house is small house. And the second is a enclosed space. I use the light in from the above. We randomly put the different types of wall solid, see-through, and clear depend on the function. So that we got the space that has a dynamic of light with the different opening wall. And glass wall. Like I concern about the ventilation and ventilation together.
Do you usually open the window without air condition when you live there?
In the living space is not air conditioned.
All right.
Yes. In the house is located, and I think it's a Long Khao is a approach to my project. Next. Yes. And I think it's a link space together, but to contact the new materials.
Yeah, it look very new, but can go together well with the context.
Yes. In the picture is represent the structure from a wooden structure. Repeat to the my project in the steel structure. Next. Okay. The foyer is ring, and I make new brick at the right. I make the new brick as use the con brick. Okay. Next. This area is a lab design. And we use the new material, metal sheet to get metal sheet. Use. Next. Okay. And interior, the step of the multi-purpose form foyer, we design to pantry built-in as a partition block before exposing the space, the living space. Next. Okay. In the living space, we can lie or sit on the step and this area. Next. One of the key consider when we use the wooden plywood in the interior, built-in and ceiling. As well as I think is a warm and cozy ambience to main living space. I want to about the feel relax. Okay. I think it's living with the spirit of in the past. It's the one important of the concept design is I want to make the unique design inspired by a simple rural lifestyle. Yes, race is small, its form lab is small. I in the process on this project. After that, I think I want to talk about the process in my work. Firstly, I think I want to rethink and represent the material and experimental, like experimental the material. It's a brick, lead brick to con brick. I use the cement, wooden, and the project is represent to transform lead brick to the old style to the new style. Okay. The wooden structure to the steel structure. And keep proportion of the thickness of zinc roof, but change into the metal sheet. It's a see-through fence into the see-through metal sheet. And we are trying to make the new texture. We put the cliff in and increase the variety of texture by mix a cliff or local agriculture into concrete. And we try to stamp the memory texture of bamboo panel into concrete too. The design, we focus on the learning up and rethinking the detailing and materiality, enhance the existing culture and increasing the local accent into my work. There are different variations of material. The idea being to create a simple and natural and unique style. How we can represent whole combination of traditional and the new one into the contemporary style. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sifah. It's very nice to see. I saw that your work have very good transformation of the old language to be a new style, which is very interesting the way you use that kind of material. But I got some question about, let me ask first, because I personally would like to know how you choose how can you find the contractor, because it's the new way of construction built for the small architecture combined with the quite local technique style. Is that the local or you import the contractor from Bangkok?
My partner is like a constructor too.
Construction. Also,
Yeah.
the company is integrated of the design and build in the same time, or is separately?
Some project I work together, but some project is separate. Yes.
Okay, maybe we can leave the question at the end to don't use much of the time.
I have a short video presentation.
Yeah.
Yes, it's finished. Thank you.
Very nice presentation, Sifah. Very nice. So we can leave all the questions at the end. I think we can start with the second talk.
Yeah. The second one is from Indonesia. Would like to introduce Kun Endar Asman from SoBA. Yeah. So you can continue the presentation. Maybe you turn on the voice.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, hello everyone, and thanks for having me. And thank you for the moderator and Asa for giving me this opportunity. I'll be your speaker in this session. My name is Endar. I'm from South Borneo in Indonesia. So the topic in this session is working with limitation, and will describe my experiences while practicing as an architect in South Borneo. Okay, next. So before we begin, I want to show you my location is that is South Borneo. So this is Indonesia, and South Borneo is right over there on the little circle. And next. And Jakarta as the capital, Jakarta is not the capital of Indonesia anymore, but still the Jakarta is the central of the architectural hype in Indonesia. So we stand far away from each other, and with that distance, the architectural movement between Jakarta and South Borneo is quite different. Next. In South Borneo, we have some iconic landmarks, some iconic building. For example, this is from government sector. We have a Great Mosque, a bridge, and a museum. Next. And we also have a few decent architecture building from private sector, mostly hotel and commercial building. So you can, as you can see, there is not many building that can be used as a reference for a local architect in South Borneo. With that condition, our best move as local architect is make our own work and make our own way in order to gain some recognition. So my studio want to participate in this recognition in hope that we will give in hope that we will give a new reference for architectural development in South Borneo. Okay, my studio is SoBA or South Borneo Architect is established in 2017. Architecture, of course, is our passion, and we want to give the best design for our client. Okay, these are some projects that we have worked on. Some were built, and some still in the development. We have a project from government sector, like a cultural building, council building, and public health center. And from private sector, we design college building, private school, college library, and the more recent project is educational center. We also have the opportunity to design some private houses, from mansion to small houses. So, but the project that I want to share with you today are the project that I consider quite interesting because they're done with some certain limitation, especially in South Borneo. But we have a lot of experience and story while doing it. These two projects have different limitation. The first limitation is the budget limitation, and the second is the time limitation. Okay, back. The first project is a boarding house in South Borneo. South Borneo has a lot of university and college, so normally boarding house is like a common thing in here. But the problem with this project is the owner came to us and tell us that she has limited budget to build this this building. She only able to provide maybe about 75% from the normal construction price. So it seemed difficult to do, but we think there are some method that we can use and hopefully it will help the building to build with still maintain the quality of the building. So the topic in this project is how to reduce the construction budget. Okay. For our normal calculation, based on the budget that the owner gave us, we can build two floors building with the total 350 square meter. So the budget reduction won't affect the built area, but rather will affect the finishing method and the construction method itself. In the early sketch, we divide the site into three zones. First is the parking lot and the main building, and the courtyard. The courtyard is also can be used for add selling value, or add the selling value to the owner, to the boarding house. So the owner can set the rent price higher than the other competitor. Okay, next. Okay, this is the floor plan. So the first floor is for VIP room, communal area, and service area. And the second floor is mostly for just a regular room. So our first method to reduce the construction budget is to reduce the height of the building itself. Normally, a building have at least 3 meter high from floor to ceiling, but in this building we have only 2.4 meters. So we reduce about 60 centimeter. This method will reduce the construction budget significantly because we will reduce the wall and the structure volume itself. But the side effect from this method is now the room obviously feels smaller. So we put the big window as a replacement in order to expand the space inside the room and make it feels bigger again. Okay, this is the size comparison on the corridor area. Because of that height reduction, now the roof is also feels shallow. But the interesting part is that shallow space, which formed by the roof, acts like a visual barrier. So it blocks the view from the street and adding a privacy to this building. So this is, as you can see in this picture, the height reduction creates a significant difference between our building and the building across the street. For our second method is to use local worker. In South Borneo, it's a common knowledge to use a worker from another island, especially from Java Island, if you want a high quality finishing. So we don't have a lot of worker that can bring a high quality finishing, but that quality is came with the higher price. So if we want to reduce the price, we have to use the local worker. And I still believe that our local worker have potential and can achieve the same level of the quality if we help them. Okay, for example, in this picture, we add many shadow line on the fence wall to divide the finishing area, so they can work one segment at a time. With this segmentation, they can be more focused, plastering the wall and finish it with more precision. And the final result is, for me, is quite satisfying. Next, our third method to reduce the construction budget is to skip a certain part on the finishing stage. As you can see in this picture, again on the first floor, you can see the wall on the fence is only on plaster stage. But then we only on plaster cat, and then we painted the wall without skim it. But on the second floor, the wall is only on the skim stage, but without painting. We just left it unfinished. Okay. So we're not just focus on the reducing the budget. We still maintain the aesthetic aspect for this building. We bring like a tropical vibe into the building in order to give the resort atmosphere as the selling point for this boarding house. The courtyard from the unused area can be used for many outdoor activities like gathering for the resident, or they can do yoga, aerobic, and etc. And this is also adding some selling point too to the boarding house. So our method to reduce the construction budget in this project is to reduce the building height and using the local worker, and maybe skip a certain part on finishing stage. But with all that reduction, the building is still can be finished with just 75% budget from the normal building, and we still able to maintain the quality, and more importantly, the aesthetic look for the boarding house, and even give some added value for it. Okay, on the next project is cafe. The cafe is also trending in South Borneo. Many entrepreneurs have entered this business, including one of my close friends. But the challenges with this cafe is not from the budget, like I said before. It's more about the construction time. So my friend wants to have a cafe that's iconic enough to getting people interested, but he said that the cafe will be must finish just in 3 months. So the time is short, and the topic in this project is how to reduce the construction time. Yes.
It have to be finished in 3 months. For how big of an area?
About just the area itself is just maybe 100 meters square, but it has a lot of courtyard. So the topic in this project is how to reduce the construction time. Again, but luckily the cafe we built on an existing building. There's old house. So maybe 50% of the progress is already done because the building is there. We just have to tear down the unnecessary part like the roof, the doors, and the window, make some adjustment, and add new features. So again, we divide the site the same way like the boarding house. There's a parking lot, main building, and the inner courtyard. And for this design, I add a special thing. I want to emphasize the entering process before they get into the cafe. I didn't put the entrance door directly, but I want the customer to walk. Sorry. I want the customer to walk in the corridor area first. I think this sequence part is important because I believe that the more time you take to experience the entering process, the more likely you will remember the building. That's just my belief. Hopefully that will make you remember this cafe. The customer will remember this cafe and want to come back again, or at least for as usual, they can take a selfie in this corridor and post it on the internet.
It's very nice walking experience to get into this place.
Sequence is everything, right? And about the iconic parts from the roof, we want the roof to be acts like a sculpture, because there's not many cafe in South Borneo that use sculpture as the main attraction for their building. So we want the roof to act like a sculpture. The shape of the roof will be unique enough and gigantic, but not too complicated to build. So we begin the building process and tear down the unnecessary part. The first method, of course, to reduce the construction time is to keep the existing building as much as we can. And our second method is use some kind of precast material like this picture. You can see the steel, the steel column and the steel beam. So it's a lot faster to work. And also the roof and the fence, we use steel hollow too. And we use gravel and pavement block for the ground cover. Again, we choose the precast material to reduce the construction time. And steel rod for covering the fence, because it works faster. You just need to cut and welding it to the structure. So the side effect with this time limit is the drawing couldn't be completed normally. So we have to give direct instruction on the side and using many sketches to help the worker. And the iconic roof we use balau wood in South Borneo is quite famous, but the most famous wood in South Borneo is ironwood. But we use balau wood instead because it's cheaper but still have the same strength. But also the color of the balau wood is lasting more than the ironwood. So we choose the balau wood. And the roof is arranged loosely, so each wood will stand each other, and the gap will produce the beam of light inside the building, like this. Okay, so you can see the beam of light coming through from the roof to the interior. And our third method is using the same way as the boarding house, is using unfinished material, or we skip a certain part of the finishing stage. So you can see in the floor, we didn't use tile or granite or ceramic. We just pour concrete and wax it, and then it's done. We just use the unfinished material. Beside the floor, we use the same method in the wall outside, like this semi-outdoor area. So this is the entrance corridor I mentioned before. This is about the sequence, but in reality, the sequence thing is a bit tricky. Normally, you use this method in the exhibition building, like museum. Sequence is usually we use that for the museum, but not suited for the commercial building or in this case like cafe or restaurant, because if you have closed wall, if you use closed wall, the customer will feel, I don't know, maybe isolated and estranged for their surrounding. That condition creates exclusivity, and sometimes in the restaurant or cafe, that exclusivity is sometimes translate into the food price on the menu. So we don't want that to happen in this cafe. we still want the customer to think this is a decent building, but with cheap food and still having a nice time while in the building. So we balance the exclusivity with transparency by using that steel rod as a curtain. So the transparency, the customer can experience the entering process, can experience the sequence, but they can still see both inside and outside without feeling isolated. Or again, at least you can take selfie in the corridor. Okay, and the wooden stair create an iconic amphitheater that can be used for eating area and become a popular spot for a selfie too in this area. On the rooftop, customer can enjoy the sunset while having a good time in this cafe, and they can see activity on the courtyard below. And the courtyard itself become a multifunction area. Again, like the boarding house, for example, on the Saturday evening, it can be a leisure and eating area. But on the Sunday morning, it can be used for yoga. So our method to reduce the construction time in this project is first to keep the existing building as much as we can. Second is using precast material, and the last one is use unfinished material. This cafe is complete as expected in 3 months, but of course it still have a minor adjustment like the electricity and etc. But overall, it built with time that expected. So what do I learn from this project? That sometimes with limitation comes a solution that we weren't expected, and that we can turn it into some creativity. I really hope this creativity and passion, with creativity and passion, local architect will earn more recognition and chance to design more building in South Borneo. My journey and my friend, all of the architect in South Borneo, our journey is still far ahead. The architecture development in South Borneo still need a lot of work, but we already make our own path, and we walk the way. Someday, I believe we will make it there. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Surprised me about the last project that is completely different from the existing house. Yeah, later on I have a question to you. Okay. So for the next is from Singapore. Let Vanessa Baey from KYOOB Architects continue the presentation.
Hi everyone. Give me a moment. Let me share the screen. Thank you, Sifah and Endar, for the inspiring talks on your build project. My featured project is actually not small architecture, but I guess
it's okay. You can describe small in different scale.
Yeah, it's slightly different scale.
It's good to know about how you work.
Yeah. So I'd like to share what it is like to do architecture in Singapore. Let's start a bit about myself. So hold on. Okay. I don't know what's the error. Okay. I think it's important to find and do what makes you happy. And I think I found it in architecture. I'm not sure if everybody feels the same, but if you spend more than half your time on work, I think it's important to love what you do. And I can see that the previous speaker loved what they do and the hard work and passion they put into not just delivering the project, but to think for the client, to think for the people, and to think about the surrounding, the materials they use, the context, and not be overboard on and still be able to blend in with the surrounding, which I like it a lot. Yeah. So a bit more of our company. So
that can be effect directly to your work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm from KYOOB, and KYOOB was founded actually about 21 years ago. We have about 50 people, and we have a very close close relationship with our colleagues and our bosses. We are pretty flat in our hierarchy, and I like the way that we can communicate freely our ideas, our thoughts, and share our experiences, which helps in like when we do difficult projects and then we share what the problems we face in different projects, we are able to do the next project better. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about Anchorvale Village. It's actually a public building. So we have something called Housing Development Board of Singapore, and we develop sort of social housing for people to all afford have affordable housing. And together with this 207 units, we have our hawker center, which is actually like a food center, natural ventilated food center. And we have our commercial schools, childcare center, and commercial shops below. So this is like an integrated mixed development. And the units are mostly focused on elderly, because it's mostly two bedrooms, and it's mostly for the older folks where they want to give them everything they can need in a single building and a single context. Yeah. So accessibility for food, health, I mean, not healthcare, but schools and etc. is all within reach. Yeah. So, okay, Anchorvale Village is in Sengkang, one of our neighborhood in Singapore. So the concept started off like a village, like because we want to put everything in one building. It feels like it has a community by itself, and it's self-sustaining. So the concept of the village, as a traditional low-rise village, it's low-rise, it's intimate, it's very interconnected through whether it's a physical connection or natural connection. But there is a strong sense of belonging and a community spirit that we are trying to retain even in a high-rise development. Yeah. So we have 4 key components: our residential, our neighborhood center, which includes our commercial schools, our childcare center, our commercial shops, eateries, supermarket, etc. And we have our food court. We call it hawker center here, so I'm not sure in different contexts what the naming convention is. And of course, we have extensive amount of landscape not just for the public, but the people staying there, playgrounds, elderly fitness, etc., and even fitness stations. Okay, so our intent was to bring this community spirit, right, from a low-rise kind of development into a high-rise typology, but still maintaining this close relationship. But because whenever you are in a high-rise building, you feel like you're segregated by levels, and then like the 3rd story would not know what's happening in the 4th story or the 5th story. So we wanted to create interlinked spaces, bridges, connection, and also visual and spatial connection by creating courtyards and openings that people can visually connect to other places in the building. Yeah, so this is the idea where we have the residential at the back. Because we have a LRT station, a train stations in front, so we want to push back our residential to prevent the noise and yeah, the disturbance to them. Oh, sorry, hold on. The PowerPoint crash. Give me a moment. I think I have to.
Is this development? You said that is the development mainly for the elder people, right? And this is mostly, and this is the project that's supported by government to the elder. So is that of the user must be the elder and everyone can, it's not for selling, right?
It is for selling, but they sell it to like some of the bedrooms are specifically sold to older people. But younger people can buy, but it's just that they have they do set a limit for this age of group of people to come in to buy this social housing. Yeah.
It's the social housing.
Yeah, they call, like, Singapore has a lot of HDBs. We call it HDB flats, and it's like a social housing kind of you need to meet a certain criteria in terms of income before you can buy. Yeah, if you exceed that income, actually you can't buy.
Yeah, it's good that government supports this for elder people.
Yes, indeed, and also for young people who are just starting out to work and may not have enough finance to own. I don't know. No next question. Okay. Oh no, I don't know why my desktop quick crashing. Oh shit. Oh, sorry. Don't mind me. I think I have to share the screen share. I don't know whether is it because of the amount of data. Maybe I should send. Could I send it and then you'll help me present? Sorry. I guess I have to.
Maybe you send to the producer and let he open for you.
Oh shucks. The problem is it's bigger than 50 meg. I need to.
Maybe we talk about this with Kun Mo.
Yeah.
As we see that there is the different skill with and also different style of work from the past 3 country. Yeah. And I quite surprised also with the before that about the renovation project that I think is very close up, very tight of the time that for the cafe. That SoBA take off the time for 3 months to do that kind of construction work, but it's even more difficult when it's the renovation.
Yes.
Maybe I do why Vanessa solving out the program. Can I ask Endar first about the cafe project? Why you choose to do the renovation instead of demolish and build the new one? I think the renovation is more difficult because you need to concern about the construction, the existing. Is that more difficult when compared with just demolish?
Yes, normally for renovation, it difficult because some we have to adjust many things. But in this project, luckily there's not much adjustment for the existing building. We just have to keep the wall part and the main construction and the main structure. And the new area is actually is erect itself from the steel structure. So the new part is actually not combined with the old part. We just use the wall for the surrounding building. So it's in this project. Actually, it's not easier to do the renovation than to demolish all the thing. And again, our need is to reduce the construction time. So with keeping the old part of the building is maybe the best solution.
But have the client ever have an idea about just demolish it and build the new, or they just continue the existing building?
Yeah, first time we just suggest my friend to demolish, but he think about if we build new building from start from the scratch, the price maybe it will affect the price. So we agree to just keep the old building as much as we can.
Right. Yeah. In this case, it's actually a bit similar in terms of the construction and workmanship when compared with the first speaker. That from the first speaker, the project there is the project in northern of Thailand, right, Sifah? So this two SoBA and studio Sifah studio have this when compared with the construction method, they have this kind of issue to concern during the construction work. Yeah. All right. How it's going?
Can you see? Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Already.
I deleted the video inside because it's the one that's like taking up all the memory space.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So I'll continue with the concept. Yeah. So actually, this is like the render at the before we complete the project. The project is now completed. So as you can see, like we have the residential in the back, and then we have the first story commercial, and then second story is the hawker center. Third story we have some schools and childcare and playgrounds and landscape, and it's like terracing. Then the residents overlook this internal courtyard that goes all the way down to our second level. So there's an opening in our building in the middle at this portion, and people can really look down, and it's to still create this visual connection, like celebrating the spirit of the community. Yeah. So this is our first story. So we talk about like access to our building. Because we are a public building, we need to be very accessible in all corners, linking from other residential. We have a sports hall on the right, and then we have more residential on the left and at the top, at the north. So our connectivity coming into the building, we have a plaza, community plaza area, and a 24-hour tower fair for people to cross through, because the building won't be closed. Only like the internal corridors, yes, but the external ones are always open to the public. Yeah, so we have a clear segregation between our residential blocks and our commercial area, so that we don't overflood our residential leaf with our commercial patrons. We also need good circulation and footfall for our commercial shops. So the other thing that we talk about is, because this is a public building, and then actually it's a in Singapore we have something called the Green Mark Platinum, where we go for certification that the building is green. And we did like studies to ensure that there is always like wind flow at a very comfortable temperature within the plaza and the 24-hour tower fair. So we do simulations to study that there is like a minimum airflow rate by introducing HVLS fan at certain portion to take note that every portion of the tower fair and the plaza will have a comfortable level of temperature and airflow. Yeah. So for our hawker center, I'll only talk about like the main levels. I mean, the residential blocks are pretty typical. So I'll just cover the first and second story. Our second story, like I mentioned, there is like an internal courtyard that opens all the way up where the residential areas can also look down. Hawker center is like our food center, so we have all the yellow ones, our stalls, and then we have our sitting. And then in between, we also have our courtyard spaces so that you get natural light, you get some form of greenery. Greenery in Singapore is very, very important because we are so urbanized. So much buildings, we have to have as much greenery as we can plant as well. So we incorporate even it on our second story. And then we need our food center to be also natural ventilated. So we also did studies on like airflow through the hawker center, and then adding fans at certain point to make sure that it is within the acceptable flow rate. And people wants to linger and stay there and eat their food and enjoy the space without stuffiness and the heat is very humid in Singapore. I'm sure in all Southeast Asia. So this is one of the key passive and active strategies that we put in place to not just talk about like the building and the space, but the comfort level of the people as well. So I mean, we have a lot of design aspect, but I will just keep it a bit shorter and then maybe just highlight some of the key points in the project that I would like to share. So during the delivery, because this project was hit by COVID, and there was a very big delay, so we had to study different ways to expedite in terms of like scheduling, in terms of how fast are we casting each slab. In Singapore, we don't really have limitations of like transport. I mean, other than sizing, we have our materials. We have ease of access to a lot of precast components. We have a lot of ways to expedite all these materials and all this methodology. We have equipments and machinery, so we are not really limited by that. So more of the processes. So I need to pause here and ask the moderator, help me share the video that I shared in the chat previously. So we had a big delay. So when we were at a typical story, we needed to catch up. So we thought about like how each level is going to go up, what is the RC cycle of each typical residential. And then you see the left block is actually faster than the right block, and then how our facade has to come in, our tower crane has to go down, our linkages and linkways have to come in after that. So the whole process to plan it is to make sure that when everything comes in to synchronize, when I remove my tower crane, my roof is completed. When I remove, we have passenger hoist, temporary lifts that carries the workers up when the lift is not in operation. Even the sequencing of when we're doing the facade installation and then the linkways all come into play because outside is pretty tight for such a massive building, right? We are sitting almost taking up the entire site. So we need to think about construction access. Once we build our linkages, our construction access is blocked. So we do have a lot of limitations that we have to consider. And so we tried out animation to tell and explain to the client how long we would actually take, and by estimation when we will complete the project. Yeah, so I go back to my slides. Am I still sharing? Oh, okay, yeah. So this is sequence and delivery. So during the construction, we also re-look at our design and simplify construction processes to expedite our schedule. Because our roof is one of the most complex portion where we have a lot of different elements that are not precast, they are unique by itself. We think about how the water tank is hoisted, when it's coming in, when our facade will be in place, and then the sequence of when it should come in and how long it takes. Then we will know like our roof actually took like two months plus 3 months, but we managed to simplify our design by using more precast elements, and we managed to reduce it to about 1.5 months of construction process. Yeah, so this took some time also because the contractor also has to change their working methods. The time that to do the roof is one, but we have to dismantle the tower crane after all this installation. So this dismantling of tower crane and making good of the building facade again also takes time. So everything comes in play, and when it's very affected by COVID and the delay, and people were waiting to live inside this residential, because we usually have a set date of when they will get their keys. And so this was like close nearing to when they are supposed to collect their keys. So we have to deliver. If not, people will not have place or houses to live in for that short period of time. Yeah. So one of the most interesting thing in the project is our facade. Because we need our building to be natural ventilated, we allow light and air to come in. At the same time, we don't want rain coming in. We need to keep off the weather, the sun. Yeah, so we sort of designed the aluminium facade to be perforated. And at certain junction of the facade, you can see it being open because they wanted, it's actually a gym at this corner. And the client wanted to let people know that there's a gym there. So we have to like make it into triangle plates and flip it open more so that people can see it from other places. Then where we have, actually we are hiding our M&E services at the back also, because we have a food center. So they have huge kitchen exhaust ducts. They're actually hidden behind this facade. And sometimes you can see and cannot see it slightly. Of
It's
course, it's also
aluminum, right? It's the
yes,
aluminum, right?
Yes, it's aluminum. So it's like aluminum perforated. And at the same time, because we also need like some amount of sunlight, but we don't want the rain to come in, we integrated our facade with what you call ETFE sheets. It's like a plastic sheet that they tighten and wrap around the metal steel. And then to allow sunlight to come in, you can see slightly what's behind. And at the same time, the rain won't come splashing in. But because of this, certain portion of the facade is also not natural ventilated, so we have to sort of balance where we can allow air to come in, where we can allow when we want light and no rain. So we can play around with how our facade iteration is depending on the needs and the users at the back of this facade. Yeah. So I show this thing because I think that as in a scale of this project, right, it's not one person's effort. It's a whole team of multidisciplinary team of consultants coming in to make it happen. So I, as an architect, I cannot build by myself. I need good builders. I need good coordinators, and I need good consultants and specialists, and I need supportive clients to make our project happen. So in my opinion, architecture is, yes, it's about design, it's about project management, it's about carrying and finishing up the project. But it's also about the people. And it's about the people coming together and working together. All have their own agendas separate, but to make it successful, I believe that is when we all come together and work together in sync with the same mindset and the same vision for a quality and successful project, then it will happen. Yeah. And that's all for me. Yeah.
You got very good teamwork, and that's what I'm going to ask about how many people to work on this whole project.
Yes.
You already answer this at the end.
We have a team of I don't know, easily like 12, 15, 20 in the team, just consultancy services. Then of course we have site staff, and we have our contractor site has their own Archi coordinators, M&E coordinators, CNS coordinators, and it can sum up to also about 15. Yeah, so to do a big scale project, we do have a lot of people, and sometimes our role is not just about delivering the project, also about managing the people and making sure they work well together.
How long for the design stage working? How many
How
months?
long?
Yeah.
How long?
The design first.
Sorry?
For the design stage, how long you have been taking?
So for the design stage, because we won this through a competition, the initial design competition was maybe like 2 months, 2 to 3 months. And then when we won and we are on board, we have like about 4 to 6 months to prepare our detailed design and tender documents before we are able to give the contractor to bid for a price. Yeah, then of course the contractor will take another 3 months, and then before they can start constructing. Yeah.
And
so
how long for the construction process? You said that you got the delay for this, and how long in total for the construction?
So we are supposed to only take about 3 years, but we took 6 years. Okay, about 5 years. 5 years.
All right. Yeah,
So
I guess.
Yeah,
I guess it's gonna be double for the allowed time.
Yeah. The delay is about 2 years, but because it's mostly due to also COVID, which hit us in 2020, and then the workers, we don't have enough, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, but yeah, it's normally double of the allowed time for the construction process, maybe more than that in Thai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go for the last one. Hello, Azlan. Say,
Yeah.
we
Hi.
from Syarawi Architects. Yeah.
From Malaysia. สวัสดีค่ะ
Yeah. So thank you, Miss Sifah, Endar, and Vanessa. I think you guys presented really good works. And also to the moderator, Miss Joey and Dr. Mo. I'm Syarawi from Syarawi Akitek. We're actually a small firm. How do I share now? Present. Okay. It's interesting that the topic given to us, I think for this talk was about small architecture. And for us, everything that we do is small. So my question was, how small is small? So I'm going to present 4 projects today, each with its own challenges or themes, and in terms of scale as well. Half of it is unbuilt. It's in development process. One is still building. The other 2 is completed. So I'm going to start with the first one, SS3 House. This is a renovation actually of a link house in somewhere in PJ, Selangor. The tricky thing about renovating this house wasn't because it's just a link house, but because the client both are Hindus and they believe in Vastu Sastra. If you guys are familiar with Feng Shui for Chinese, when you design through Feng Shui, so Vastu is the Hindu equivalent of it. So I think when they engage us for this project, they asked us whether I know. I didn't. So what we did was we had to study, read the whole book on it, and so the whole process started from there. What used to be an old house bought in the 90s, they want to revamp because the kids are growing up. They need bigger, better spaces for the family. So this one is still under construction. You'll see it in 4 months' time. Now, the tricky thing about Vastu is I've done houses with Feng Shui, and I think Vastu is a bit trickier than that. It feels like Lego for adults, like advanced level of Lego. What we did with this house was actually we identify all the spaces that we need. They have a son and a daughter, and just 2 kids, and they have their prayer altars. They've got their study rooms, etc. And the key challenge for us was how do we actually use that existing framework of a house without tearing it down and refitting all these spaces in accordance to the Vastu guidelines. So you're talking about allocating and making sure that their bed positions are correct, where their study positions are right, whether they are facing the north quadrant or the south quadrant, because part of their belief was about optimizing the functionality and energy flow. So this was the existing house. It's just a common link house in Malaysia, a small space on the first floor. But having said that, now that they've grown older, the kids are older, they want more space. The son wants a drum jamming room. We've catered for that. And how do you do that within the constraints of the Vastu? And I think we've succeeded in a way of planning for this particular project, is how we actually plan it. So the son needs to face the front, which is the northeast quadrant. The daughter needs to face the south. So everything's been reconfigured for the house, and we kept the structure as is, meaning whatever intervention that we did for the architecture is purely just to suit the new spaces. So there are factors of view and ventilation for all the spaces. And if you're familiar with link houses, the problem is when you go too big, the build-up area goes too big, then it gets darker in the center. So we use this opportunity of reshuffling the spaces to create an internal courtyard, and in hopes that would actually bring in light and ventilation to some of the spaces on the inside. So I think because this is interesting because it relates to the cultural and religion aspect of architecture. What I'm sharing with you right now is during the initial stage of the construction, while we were hacking, we needed to hack all 8 quadrants of the site. We had a prayer done, and we buried gemstones. That's part of the belief. So as you can see here, there's a northeast corner, and there's I think this is the east corner as well. So they would pray at every single corner of the house. So sadly, I can't share the finished product, but I can share a bit of what we designed for it to be. So this is the internal courtyard that I was talking about. It is where we can actually tap in the ventilation and sunlight. And it's nice because you get that draft of hot air that goes up all the way to the top, to the roof. So we use that as well to actually cool down the building. Even on site right now, it does feel really, really cool. The client likes some gardening. She does gardening. So I think part of our intervention was to introduce more spaces for her to actually plant things. So there's the mini rooftop garden, there's the tiered open spaces for them. And I think we didn't want to do architecture that shouts. So everything that we do is very minimal. We tried to keep to the original, I would say, the spirit of the house. Moving to the next one, this is Z House. It is also a renovation, but what's interesting about this is a 70s structure. The house is quite dilapidated, means it's very old. When the client bought it, they bought it for cheap. She also wanted to do it on a very strict budget, right? And part of the brief to us was, okay, I actually like this house. Okay, I want to keep the soul of this house, but her requirements and her lifestyle are very much different the spaces that were in this existing house. As you can see, it's all white. But I think the previous owner actually used it as a central kitchen, which is odd. So as you can see, it's kind of, not to say fully run down, but if it is not used for a very long time. And interestingly, this house, it is dubbed the butterfly house back in the 70s. I can't find out which architect did this, but I don't know why. Maybe he's fascinated with butterflies. So when the house is mirrored, right, all the houses there are mirrored. The layouts look like butterflies. That in itself is a challenge for us because due to the constraints of the budget, how do we actually restore or reintroduce spaces, new spaces, without tearing down all the columns and beams? So you can see the first floor is also in a half butterfly shape. We did not want to deviate from that, so we introduced like the front space. We opened up the roof slightly, created a double volume space for the living room. The client likes to sit outdoors, so we use this kink or the odd spaces to actually create a space for her to use in the evening. Everything, the back of house is tucked to the back. And I think back in the 70s, lots of the buildings in KL are actually all walled up. It means it's quite dark inside. So I think our aim or intervention in handling this was actually to open up as much as we can. If you look here on the first floor, usually in a typical link house in Malaysia, there's always a family room, family area on the first floor, but no one actually uses it. So they use it for store. So what we did was, instead, I'll give that space back to a master bedroom, and the leftover space just acts as like foyer. You know, as you go up the staircase landing, that becomes just as a small meeting point. You decide which room to go. So yeah, this is, once it's done, we open up a lot of the walls. It suits how she cooks, how she lives her lives. There's a piano set over there, and this flooring that you see is the original terrazzo flooring. I think we respect that back in the old days, it's all done in situ by real experts, which we can't find these days. It's very hard to find. Everything is prefabricated terrazzo tiles, but back then it was done on site. And I think that it lends a really nice spirit to the house, and we've kept it. So the spaces are way more open. This is even the front. If you look at the previous pictures where they kept all the kitchen equipments, now we've opened it up, so it has a more airy, more spaces. So in keeping, I think earlier on I said that the client liked the original house in a way. So I think that we tried to keep the soul of the house. It is still in white. It is still not shouting, but it is brought to the 21st century. If that makes sense. So these are all the spaces, the new spaces. That's her bedroom up there, looking out. Overall, it's a success. This was done in, I think, roughly about 6 months overall and within budget. Okay, the next house, I'm going a bigger scale. So this house is probably the largest that I'm going to show today. This is actually a villa in Baey. Baey is a hill area, quite chilly. It's near Genting, hillside area. And what's challenging for us for this project was there is a traditional Malay house there. I think it's not that different than what you have in Thailand in a way, because you have the underspace of the house, which is not, which is pretty much an open space. I think in Thailand it's called kantok. Yeah, so that is the space that people use, for their daily activities, to cook or whatever. It's completely open for people to gather, and weirdly, at this hill area, it's prone to flooding. But partly because probably the river around the area wasn't, there's clogs and everything. So at times it does rise up, the water level rise up to about 3 feet on site. And having said that, when they engaged us, they said, okay, one part of your job is to actually restore the old house. They're keeping the old house to be sort of like to entertain the guests, or they have events, wedding events all there, and they have a new private villa adjacent to it. Now, this is challenging to us because, how do you do it without, while respecting what was there? Because this is a house that has lots of character. It's been dismantled from another state, brought to this state, reassembled again by craftsmen. And our job is just to simply restore this back to its glory days. So this is going to kickstart very soon. So the challenge, as I was saying, how do you do it without overpowering what was there in the first place? So I think that we placed the building slightly apart, so as it is not directly linked. But what we did was to follow the scale of the architecture. Sorry, I better take a 1 minute break, my son. Okay, advertisement, I'm back. So yes, we tried. Not even 1 minute. We tried to capitalize on the orientation of the building and also the scale. The building or the original traditional house was actually oriented perfectly to the prayer direction for Muslims. So in that sense, even our new building actually follows that same context. So if you can see over here, we enter from the front, you have the existing house, but we do not want to, fight between the two structures. So they are all split through, I would call it like a landscape walkway. And this private villa would serve the family during their weekend getaways. Because it's on a hillside, the infrastructure isn't that well. So part of what we planned or will be constructed will be the rainwater harvesting, the solar system, and etc. So we are bringing the new villa to current age while, respecting whatever that was there. So you see over here, this height is exactly what the original house was. So we wanted it to be simple, clean, and contemporary tropical house without overpowering. And that served as a basis for how we end up with the form of the building. And because that the building is raised, right, like any other stilt houses in Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, the problem is how do you make it accessible, through wheelchair. So we use that ramps and everything as a layering, like a form layering to the building. So even though the living spaces and the bedrooms are all perched up, but the house was actually designed to be accessible. And I think that is one of our main focus. You can see over here, everything utilizes the views that are already on site. We are looking to a jungle, and whatever trees that was existing, we are building around it. At least that's the plan. Yeah. Okay, so just sharing some pictures of the design. So we want it completely open. Feels like a bit like a resort, I think. Not everything needs to be shaded. I think it's all part of the journey. This is the client's private study overlooking the forest, and this is their entrance galley as you go up, leading to whether the living room is or where the bedrooms are. This is from the old house, so from the old house you're going to go to the new house through this link. And the poolside. So there isn't much fancy decoration to this architecture because of our constraints or self-inflicted constraints. Yeah. Okay, final one. I think I've gone from small to big. Now I'm going to go really small. This project to us is a bit interesting because actually we've not done it before. The client is a 90-year-old tea house in Malaysia. They're a third generation tea family. So they set up like a spin-off company trying to pull in people to drink tea in Malaysia. And one of the things they came to us was, can you do us a T-bar on wheels? Means a T-bar that actually moves, a food truck basically. And I just said yes because it's challenging and it seems fun enough for us to do. And so we did. The first step usually was architect would present their works to the client, but this is the other way around. I think they call us up, our team, our design team, and they actually offered us and served us all their teas that they plan to serve. They need the architect to believe in their tea, if that makes sense. Because if you believe in the vision, then hopefully the product comes out, a representation of who they are. Because when you're a brand that's already been around for about 90 years, everyone associates tea with being for elderly to drink. It means a traditional Chinese tea. You would go, there's all the formalities around it. So they're trying to appeal to the younger generation. I thought building houses was difficult, but doing trucks are actually the most difficult for us. Firstly, because we did not have experience. We just went ahead first. But I think it's all about the space planning. We needed to understand how the brewer or the tea barista actually brews, the flow within the truck. So the truck's constraint is already bad because in Malaysia, they're very strict about road rules. So we have limitations on how we actually plan out the truck. So truck has a limited size. And because of that and understanding how they work, if you can see over here, this is basically a chart on where he goes, what he does all the way to the back. And because of the limitation of space, we even engineered a section of the bar that is pushed out all the way. So the brewer gains more space internally within the truck. And the most challenging aspect for this, besides all these spaces, is that the client has a very, very particular rule, which is when I serve tea, I need to look at people in their face, in their eyes. If a normal food truck, you'll be standing on the ground and you'll be reaching up and taking the tea. It means you're looking up. So they said, no matter what, we need to have eye-level contact with our consumers. So again, we had to find a way to engineer and within the rules of road regulation. So it was a nightmare for us getting this truck approved. But I think we succeeded. This is the final pitch that we sent to the client, one of the options, and they went ahead with it. So part of the process was testing all the colors for the truck. Buildings are quite easy. I just get someone to just paint it. Paint a few samples, then I pick it on site. But when it comes to truck, then we're dealing with body wraps. Body wraps with vehicles, so those have a very different, translation of colors. So it took a while to get the colors exactly right, even if you have your Pantone code. So that's one of the challenge. So you can see over here, if I were to translate in architecture, these are the posts and beams. The existing box is nerve-wracking to see it in this form. We actually climbed up and feel like, oh my God, the space is really, really tight. But yeah, the process went on. We actually did the clad here, the bodywork. We had to deal with two separate parties for this. One is the truck fabricator or the metal fabricator, and the other is the carpenter. And of course, the FMB appliances. So once the bodywork is done, we actually tested it out for all the large equipments, all placed in. Feels like the space is, just nice. Everything got approved, sent for the local authorities' approval. They say, okay, your car is good to be on the road. And we went on with the ID. So the interior paneling was done. And, this is the metal fabricator. He kept warning me, please don't let a lot of people go up. This one, the second picture, was us having a nerve-wracking moment because client has all these big blenders that we need to fit while we push the bar out. So those are part of the issues that we face. And yeah, this is the final result, and that's me pretending to brew some tea, doing some final touch-up work for the truck. And yes, this is it. It's roaming around KL, Malaysia, different spaces, so you can go check them out. And zoom into micro. This is my final one. After we've done the truck to them, the next step was doing follies. These are going even smaller scale, not in a truck. These are basically sculptures that can be used to serve tea. And I think it's fun for us because it feels like a folly project for first year architectural student. So yes, with that, I'd like to conclude my presentation with a special shout out to my team. There's 8 of us right now. 8 in total. So yeah, thanks so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the food truck, we can see only in Kuala Lumpur or everywhere in Malaysia.
That was a pilot project. I don't know if they're going ahead with the second or third, but
Okay. Yeah. So it's very good to listen for of you. And today we got very different kind of the project, and the scale also different from very huge to very small, or even the product design. So maybe we jump to the question
Q&A session. Yeah.
or any all of us would like to ask each other. Do you have any question to ask for each other? Maybe after this we can discuss. And is there any question?
Yeah, from the opinion from the chat box, we kind of get 2 questions. For the one that I have is like, as a young architect in each country, do you have any problems with reliability when working with clients, contractors, or agencies?
Yeah, maybe I start.
Yeah, any of you can start.
Maybe
Asman.
I think that it doesn't matter whether we are young architects or not. I think that the problems that you asked, reliability when working with clients, contractors, agencies is all the same, even if your firm has been around for very long. I would find that clients and contractors are something that is quite manageable within each practice. Is how we handle people, right? We're dealing with people, and each one is very different. I would say in Malaysia, for example, agencies are difficult. We got to get approved, and it's the agencies that are difficult to maneuver. Yeah, so that's my answer. How to solve? Probably, I think review the process with them. Yeah, review the process with the government agencies in assisting us in a way. Yeah, thanks.
I can share.
Please.
I think being young, okay, not very young, but I mean for the young ones, right? What we do is we have very good mentorship, and we share our knowledge. And when we have more knowledge, we can deal with clients, authorities, and contractors better, because we need certain amount of trust and faith in our skills before people before there will be less problems, and that is, and to get that trust and that relationship is to gain as much knowledge as possible from your mentors, from your peers, and yeah, sharing the experience. And in our industry especially, I feel the sharing is very strong, and the need to help each other out is there. So I think as a young architect, as long as you're humble and willing to learn, it will not be as difficult as it is to deal with clients, contractors, and yeah, because their aim and intent is all to complete the project for clients and contractors, while authorities is to protect the interests of the public, as well as if we have the same mentality as the authorities, they will respect us and they will understand that we are not trying to go against them. We are trying to create a better product here, and we are their forefront in trying to make sure that our clients comply with the law. We are there to actually help the authorities achieve what they want, like more greenery, more setback, etc. All this is the interest of the public, I would say. So as long as we support them this way, they will support us back.
Yeah, really, really nice answer.
It's not like an argument, like we try to find the best solution for the team and to get the best way of the design project.
Yeah. And
All right.
anyone share more?
It's actually I got one question. Is the question related about the Association of Architecture in your own country? Is there any participation or any support from the Association of Architects in your own country to young architects? Like, or do you guys as an architect, is there any help that you need from the association? Vanessa want to say something.
Okay, I'll say first.
I see that your project is the design competition, right?
Yeah. So I think as a support from like Singapore Institute of Architects, we have actually a youth architect league that helps with like where the young ones, they come in and they want to study for their qualified personnel cert. They will assign tutors and mentors to them to assist them in studying and getting our QP for short. And they do have like try to plan activities, talk sessions, etc. to inspire the young ones and also to guide them in our field. Yeah. So there is a support system here.
And like in terms of the promoting of the design firm, any support or any help from the association?
So they do organize yearly awards.
Event.
Yeah. So their awards range for different scales, different typologies, and they have a panel of judges to like people with all skills of architecture can come in and submit for the awards, and it's recognized in Singapore. So it does help in maybe giving some recognition in smaller firms or firms that are not so well known. Yeah.
And is that have to be a original Singaporean company or everywhere, every company type?
Currently I'm not I think they're open to Singapore projects. And I'm not sure it's by like company, but I think it's more location. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. May I ask maybe Sifah about any help from association that we need?
Turn on the microphone.
I think the association is a influence of the young architect more, and I think that is a support from the education.
And also, maybe I also share as an architect as well. I think like this event that the ASA try to organize the talk that choosing the young architects to share the experience. This is another way to also promote what we have done and show apart from our website platform. So it's another way to let young architects or other people to see what we have done. All right, yeah. Maybe how about Endar? Is that any support or help from the Architectural Association from Indonesia?
Yes. Okay. Just last month, we gather the session. Have a gathering. We talk about many things, and there's a lot of seminar and exhibition for young and upcoming architect, especially in South Borneo. So the association is really helpful for the young architect and the architecture development in South Borneo.
All right. Yeah. Azlan, I would like to know as well, how about in Malaysian? Actually, 3 months ago, I went to Malacca, and I have a bit of time in also KL. And I visit some of my friends' design project over there. I saw that a lot of interesting design project happen also in Malaysian. Any kind of help or support from the association to promote your work?
Yes, I think referring to your question, yes, there is. That's why I'm here, I think, today. So
Yeah.
even last year, because they've had the 100 years anniversary, and the entire year was filled with programs on not just promoting firms that's been around, but even young architects, new firms, and graduate architects as well. So I think they have programs that actually caters to all. So in a nutshell, yes, the support system is there, definitely. And when it's being led by the younger generations, I think the current leadership, I think they do promote a lot. They do help. Yeah.
Right. For actually, I have personal question about the regulation about the permission, because myself also doing the design renovation as well, and I found that building a new building in the same scale to do the new building is easier when compared with to do the renovation. Some of your client project, I would like to know how you choose to do the renovation instead of demolishing the old one and build the new one. What is the reason, or is there any requirement from the client, or what is the programmatic? Why is the programmatic design let you do the renovation? Is that not easier to build the new, or why to do that?
Understand? Okay. I think there's a fine threshold between keeping in the budget or bursting it. When building new is definitely easier because we don't have to worry about mobilization, don't have to worry about maneuvering through existing columns and all that. But essentially, it does still cost more to build from fresh, but it's fast. So I think from a commercial point of view, I think it always makes sense to actually build new ones. But from a residential side, when like for our clients, when you can afford to wait a bit longer, then the renovation process is more preferable. Yeah.
Also depend on you don't do much of the demolishing.
Correct.
Keep the old structure.
So we have to weigh the time and cost together. I don't think it's just about us managing the cost. It's also about the time. So if people can wait a bit longer, then yes. If it's shorter, yeah. So the situation differs because of that.
Yeah. Because like let me share some in Thai that, for example, we keep the existing structure because of the regulation and the setback of the area in that location, that if we build a new one with the new regulation, we not allowed to have big space as the existing building. This is also one of the issue that we don't build the new one.
I think it's quite similar here. Depends on the location of the building or the house per se. It's pretty much the same.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, may I continue asking a little bit I have a question for Endar, and for your project, the cafe project, that with the time limitation with 3 months, how much of the time did you spend on site? As you say that you have not much time to complete all the drawings, and you show that you need to show all the details and sketch on site to the bidders. And I just wonder, like, you need to be there every day, or it can be like less than that?
I think it's more than 80% that I be on site, because the site, the cafe site is across from my office, so I just walk there.
Okay. That's why.
And sometimes the worker is knock on my door. So, sir, this is the problem. Can you direct us how to do? It almost every day I show up to the site to direct the worker, because again, without the complete drawing, the miscalculation risk is very big. So as a freshman, I have to be on site every day. Well, not every day, but every time they need, I'll be there.
Okay.
And plus, it's my one of my close friend project, so I have to. Yes, I have to
take care.
Take care about the project.
Extra take care.
Extra.
It's
maybe
more. Yes.
Okay, I got a question for P. Sifah. Maybe can I speak in Thai, and later on I translate back in English. พี่สีฟ้าคะคือเห็นว่าพี่แบบมีการใช้แบบ local material ผสมกับnew แบบเหมือนกันวิธีการก่อสร้างที่มันเป็นงานเหล็กหรือว่างานคอนกรีตอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะช่างที่พี่ใช้ค่ะมันเป็นช่างชุดเดียวกันแล้วก็เป็นช่างคือเมื่อกี้ถามไปนิดนึงแล้วเนอะพี่บอกว่ามีทีมเพื่อนที่แบบดูแลเรื่อง construction อยู่แต่จะอยากรู้ว่าแบบคือช่างผู้รับเหมาแบบเนี้ยคือเขาซับมาจากกรุงเทพหรือว่าเป็น local contractor อะค่ะเปิดเสียงนิดนึงค่ะ
local contractor ค่ะแล้วก็คือทางเราเหมือนทำไปพร้อมกับช่างค่ะเหมือนทำงานพร้อมกับช่างเลยก็คือเหมือนเป็นช่างที่ก่อนที่จะเริ่มทำงานเราให้ทำเหมือน mock up อะค่ะทดลองไปกับเราอย่างเงี้ยค่ะก็คือจะเป็นช่างทั่วไปในพื้นที่เลยค่ะ
คือโปรเจกต์อันเนี้ยเป็นของเป็นออฟฟิศพี่ลาบอิสมอลไม่ใช่ค่ะเป็นเหมือนกับลูกค้าเป็นคนที่รู้จักกันซึ่งอยู่ในหมู่บ้านเป็นเหมือนกับคนแถวบ้านเนี่ยค่ะ
ที่รู้จัก
ค่ะ
ก็เลยเข้าใจ
การ
ถึงใช่ค่ะ
แล้ววิธีการที่จะได้ผู้รับเหมาก็คือเหมือนกับบิดแล้วก็เลือกผู้รับเหมาตาม process เลยจนได้รายนี้อะไรอย่างงี้ใช่ไหมคะ
งานนี้จะเป็นเหมือนทางทีมดีไซเนอร์เป็นคอนซัลท์ด้วยค่ะ
ค่ะ
ในตัวเนี่ยค่ะคือเราแยกช่างเป็นย่อยแต่ละทีมแล้วเราช่วยดูทั้งหมดเลยเนี่ยค่ะเพื่อให้งานมันออกมาตามสเต็ปแต่ละอันที่เราวางไว้เนี่ยค่ะ
แล้วก็น่าจะต้องทำ mock up เยอะเลย
ใช่ค่ะก็คือทดลองไปด้วยอะไรเงี้ยค่ะ
อีกอย่างค่ะคือจะเห็นมันมี block wall concrete block wall ค่ะที่แบบ normally used as a fence wall แล้วก็มันก็จะแบบไม่ค่อยแข็งแรงจะเคยอยากใช้ที่มันเป็นแบบ pure material concrete block นะคะคือตัวนั้นน่ะพี่จะเห็นใช้ใน interior work ด้วยมันแข็งแรงพอที่จะแบบเหมือนเจาะหรือว่ายึดหรือว่าอะไรได้ไหมอะคะ
อันนั้นจะเป็นซีเมนต์บล็อกเนี่ยค่ะซึ่งตัวเนี้ยจะหนาอยู่ที่14 ถึง 15 เซนเพราะนั้นคือในตัวความหนาตัวเนี้ยค่ะ material เนี่ยคือเราสามารถซ่อนงานระบบเข้าไปทั้งหมดได้
ค่ะ
ก็ค่อนข้างแข็งแรงเพราะว่ามันมีส่วนผสมของคอนกรีตเข้าไปด้วยเนี่ยค่ะ
ค่ะโอเคค่ะประมาณนี้ค่ะOkay, before I just ask Sifah about how is the tender method and how to get the contractor and also how to do the detail in for the specific area because as her project design got a lot of craftsmanship embedded with the concrete and metal structure. All right. I think
actually it's time. I'm not sure if
we have another question.
We actually just see another question pop up on the chat. There is another one, but we can also go through it together. The first one, the one we have here is, how did you find inspiration for the design in each project? Yeah, just some of you can if you have a great idea, just explain. We can start with Vanessa. How about you?
Inspiration. It's very contextual. Like it's very hard to determine like at any time of point. Like you need to know the environment. You need to think about what you want to do, and then the materials that you have, and then it's trying to sketch out, trying to push forth in like an experimental experiment with what you have in 3D, and then and then sometimes it just happens. I don't know.
And also in your past programmatic requirement, also the main of the inspiration, because a lot of requirement from client.
Yes, they have a lot of requirement, but I think we need to first find something we want to work with, and then we will convince them that what we want with is also will achieve what they want. Because they engage us to find a design inspiration, right? So they don't come up with it, they just tell you what they want and everything, and then from them we formulate what we think is best for them in terms of design. Right.
Okay.
I think our scale for a bigger scale, sometimes it's about form making. Sometimes it's also about how you see your surrounding. But I think for the rest of the speaker, actually, there is a lot more interaction with the client, especially the T one. I think it's very interesting. understanding how they do it, and drawing inspiration from what they want their customer to feel. I think inspiration can come from also the end product itself, like what they want to achieve. Yeah. But when it's a bigger scale, sometimes it's about form and messing and efficiency. I'm about the GFA you can give them, the area in which they can sell.
All right. Yeah.
Let's not.
Correct. We actually have thank you for the answer. Okay, since we don't have so much time, I see another question for another one. What about the common language in architecture from your idea? This is actually the first question. Like I guess from what the question mean is about the character or your style. I from what I guess.
Or do you have any signature for your own design?
Character, like it needs to be
Because
white mostly, or it needs to be like local materials mainly, something like this. Aslan, I guess I hear your voice.
It's a tricky question because I think like a fixed style isn't what we go for. Like this is our style. I think it varies. It depends on like what Vanessa said. It's contextual, right? Depends on that site, depends on that project, and sometimes we feel like, hey, we want to bring this element out for that project because it's relevant for that. So I wouldn't say that there's a common language for all the projects that we do or what my friends did.
You care or focus more on the context, on the specific context of each project, right? Yeah.
Of course, if a client were to ask me like, what would I do? Like, what is your style? Then I will just say contemporary vernacular. That's what we want to do mainly, but doesn't mean that's always the end result.
All right.
So this is an interesting question, right? For me, in SoBA, we didn't have a special style or anything like that, but almost of my clients say that the roof shape is the common thing that mostly you can see it in mostly of our project. You can see for example, for the two projects that I show you before, you can see the roof shape is quite expanded. It's quite wide. Maybe the reason behind it is because in South Borneo, we our material that we use for the roof is not that sophisticated, and the maintenance is the important thing to maintain in the building. So and the other reason is for tropical reason. So in our project, the first thing we have to accomplish is the roof. The roof is quite wide, so the rain is not gonna ruin the building. So maybe that's the main reason why our design is the characteristic from our design is the roof shape itself.
Yeah, the language should be it's like the language is follow from the context and also the requirement or even the existing structure from your own project. And
yeah.
But I think for Sifah, I feel that her she has very clear common language in her architecture. It seems like the rural pureness of materials, right?
Yeah, and
she has I think she has a distinct style. From what I hear, yeah.
Yeah. I think so. She got from the Sifah studio. I think it's combination between the traditional and lifestyle of the people over there, combined with the craftsmanship. This kind of thing reflect on the design. But that might be only this project. Maybe another project, different location. Sifah design might be reflect from that area.
Yes.
All right.
I think is that I try to write experimental and in the local accent in the material used in the new contemporary architecture and lifestyle. I want to make this.
Yeah, that easily can see from the new design with the traditional element.
Yes, it's element.
Yeah, I think now is kind of like the time with the limit of the time that we have now is we can wrap up a little bit if actually for today we have a lot of inspirations idea from everyone's experience and everyone's project that you presented today. They are all like inspiring and interesting, and I know that it will be very beneficial and useful for designers, for all the designer, not only for the young designer, but also the one who already have a lot of experiences. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming here and giving us a talk today.
And I would like to say thank you for the association from Thai, Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia as well. Yeah. And also our friends and audience to spend our time together for this Saturday morning.
Yeah. Yes.
Let me promote one more thing. We still have another talk about for nation in the next 2 weeks. The next will be in 20 of this month. Yeah. Hope to see you again. Yeah.
Yeah. So to see everyone again.
Call it a day. Thank you very much again. And
thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah,
Thank
have a nice day.
You too. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณค่ะ